and all that kind of stuff. I have no idea. So what unit were you in?
I was in the 87th Seabees Battalion. And that was the first one, but then I was in the 9th, I was in the 13th. And we went from there, after we got, a lot of the guys were there a lot longer than me. As they go home, then we had to replace them. So if one guy or two guys, they were older guys, they weren't young guys. So we had to replace them. And we went. And then from a lot of times when we went into the islands, and well, we had to go in. We had to take our bulldozers and go into the islands. And I remember one time we went into, I don't remember the island it was. Well, it was someone on Okinawa. That was the last island. I got that last. I think it was in one island in the Gilbert Islands. And that Gilbert, that's my last name. So I used to write to my dad, and my dad used to follow where I was, you know. And I used to always spell Gilbert with a J. So I spelled Gilbert with a G, but when I wrote to him at home, I spelled a J. And he wondered why. Well, that's where he is. He's in the Gilberts. So that's how he could tell I couldn't tell him where I was, but in the Gilbert, you know. But then we would come off the island and into the island. We'd build airstrips. We have to take the bulldozers. We built it with coral. We took coral out of the sea to build just like cement. And then we had to work nights, days, and everything else. And the airplanes would come in and bring supplies to the Marines and everything else. Then they'd bring their fighter planes in and go to the next island.
How long would it take to build an airfield?
Well, it wouldn't take very long to build a small one. We just take the bulldozers, maybe you have 8, 9, 10 bulldozers, come off the ship with us, with them. Push anything in our way that was flat, push them out of the way. We used to push even the natives would be there, and their spot was flat. We'd tell them we'd build you a home if you want one. We'd build big barracks for them. Just get out of the way, and we just take them right down and push everything away. Just long to get it long enough for our airplane to come in. Flatten it out, roll it, so it can come in, you know.
How long did it take you? A week?
Oh no, we had to come sometimes a couple of days to get that in, just enough to get supplies in. You know.
And then you get back on the boat and go to the next.
No, and we stayed there sometime and build it up, build a nice big one, a big airstrip. We built bridges. I remember a time we got in there and we got most of the work done. So the guys started building something. If we build a cafeteria, and about 2 days after Yali Island, we had our ice cream machine going in the South Pacific.
Where did you get the ice cream machine from?
They built it up. They took it from there. Everything else, you know, they wanted a part. We could get our officers could get a lot of liquor if they wanted. All the liquor they wanted, they could get. So they used to trade the liquor in for meat and stuff they wanted, fresh meat and everything else. So there's only maybe 250 of us Seabees, you know. The Marines they were there, but they were fighting. They got ahead of us and went to the island. So we're sitting back with the airstrip for the planes that come in. The planes that come in and load them, go up.
Did the Seabees ever were they ever forced to fight? Did you ever have to, or did your unit ever have to?
I actually never had a fight, but I've seen fighting. We got on, the last island we come into was pretty rough. That was in Okinawa. And when we got in Okinawa, they had a lot of suicide planes. The Japanese came in with suicide planes. And they'd come in with a big plane called the Betty, and they'd be pulling that glider behind them with a bomb in it. And they'll let it off and it'd come right down into the ship where the ships were unloading, and they'd come into it. In fact, one time we were unloading a ship, and one come in, but he missed our ship, and he landed in the water. And they got a hold of the guy, the bomb didn't go off. I was on a ship, I went down the anchorage chain, so to get in the water to get out of the ship, but it didn't hit it. I wasn't the only one. There was a lot of them there. A lot of older guys were trying to dig foxholes on top of the ship to can't dig foxholes in metal. But anyway, they finally got the kid out of the glider. He was about maybe 10, 12 years old. That's all he was. He was had all dressed up to go to heaven. He said, "I think there's pictures in there of that someplace."
Now I remember a story of you telling me when I was a kid about how they took one of your stripes away for leaving a truck out in the coral. You got to tell that story.
Oh well, we used to build. I used to haul gas. See, I even hauled gas afterward. But we used to haul gas from one place for the airplanes. So I used to go up sometime at night, and I used to work at night because it was hot during the day, and driving gas with something was 110, 120 degrees. So I was coming down, but I was empty with a tanker coming back from the where the planes were, and they had a bomb rating. They were dropping bombs around. So I said, way ahead of me, I saw one fall, and I couldn't put that truck where he stopped very much. So I just kept coming. I put the brake on. I had a great big gas truck behind me, pulling a double trailer. So I left it, and the brakes didn't work, too hot or something, and then I dumped the truck. I was okay because I was going slow enough to jump out. I think I scratched my leg. So in the Navy or in the Army, if you break something, you got to pay for it. The only thing they can do, if they don't have any money to give them, they take a stripe away. So I didn't even bother getting it back anymore. I figured that not worth it. So.
Wow. I also remember another story you told me when I was a little kid. I'd like you to tell it again if possible, of how you got beer cold by giving it to the pilots to go up, and then they fly around with the beer and then bring it back and it'd be cold. I might be incorrect.
Yeah, they used to do that. Yeah, they did that for a while. But I never used to drink too much beer. But I used to give it to my friends, the beer. I was young. I didn't even smoke when I was in there too much, Yeah, we got to know the pilots pretty good. So I went up with them once quite a bit. I used to go up once in a while. They'd go up for training and this and that. And they were going to the Philippines one time. So the guy said, well, bring back some Filipino whiskey. I said, I don't know if I'm going to go all the way to the Philippines. I said, 'cause that's a long ways. It wasn't really that far, but it was on a plane. But anyway, they were going to go up this day, but this wasn't a real airplane. This is one of these seaplane where it lands into the water. And we went up in that thing, and that thing started shaking so much. I told him, I'm going to jump out to take me out of here, So anyway, I got out. We come back. They were testing the planes, and then they figured they're going to go to the Philippines. I told them, bring me back a monkey. So they went up and they came back. They came back, I think, later on that night or something. But anyway, I got my monkey. They bought me a monkey back. Yeah. So I had the monkey for quite a while, and I used to keep cigarettes in my pocket, but I never smoked that much. The monkey used to take a cigarette out of my pocket and put it in my mouth. He couldn't light it for me, but he used to put it in there sometime. But then we had a big storm on Okinawa. It was one of the highest typhoons they ever had. And then I couldn't find my monkey after that. Monkey was gone. Every clothes was gone. Everything I had was gone. I had souvenirs. I had Japanese souvenirs. There was even horses we had, because when the Japanese left Okinawa, there was horses there. We used to ride them. We had to give them back. But then that storm was so bad, it used to even be trucks and reefers flying in the air. So there was maybe about 10 of us. We had to crawl down into a Goot village. They called Goot, they were natives. And we went down, and the village was way down below. And that's where we stayed for a couple of days.
Here, I'm going to stop it there and then restart.